Paternity in the interest of LaDon Johnson. We are here today set for our final in this case. We are conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We are live streaming, and Ms. Boyd is making our record this morning, or this afternoon, sorry. My apologies, the docket's so far behind. We had some real problems first thing this morning with technology and other issues, so we're doing the best we can do. I'm sorry. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Melinda Powell for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. We are present, ready to proceed.
Jeff Hill for the unknown father, ready.
Meredith Graff preparing for LaDonna Johnson. She's not here, but I'm prepared and ready to proceed.
Bailey Sapien, guardian ad litem for the mother. I'm present and ready.
Stacy Sabella on behalf of the child.
All right, thank y'all. Okay. Ms. Powell?
Thank you, Judge. Petitioner calls Katie Larson.
All right, Ms. Larson, if you'll unmute for me, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Powell, you may begin.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Larson, please state your name.
Katie Larson,
Ms. Larson, how are you currently employed?
with the Department of Family and Protective Services.
Okay, are you familiar with the case involving the child LaDon Johnson?
Yes.
How are you familiar with the case?
I was the investigator for the case.
Okay, and when did the department initially become involved in the case?
March 28 of 2025.
Okay, and at the time you became the department became involved in the case, what steps did you take to work the case?
I spoke with Miss Johnson. She was in the pavilion at the time for a mental health crisis. She talked about concerns with her father and his spouse at their home, that Miss Morgan might be using cocaine. So I did speak with them at their house. And that was kind of the steps that I took at the time.
And the mother of the child is LaDonna Johnson, is that correct?
Yes.
And did you have, you said you met with Miss Johnson at the pavilion. Did you have discussions with Miss Johnson regarding mental health history?
Yes.
What did she tell you in regards to the mental health history?
She has a ongoing mental health history, and she had not been taking her medication since LaDon was born.
Okay. And in addition to discussing mental health history, did you also discuss drug use with Miss Johnson?
Yes.
What did Miss Johnson tell you in regards to the drug use?
She had admitted to using cocaine that month.
Okay. And when you said that month, was she pregnant with LaDon at the time she used, or had LaDon already been born?
He was already born.
Okay. And based upon your interview with Miss Johnson, did you determine whether it would be safe for Miss Johnson to care for the child?
Yes. We determined it was not, based on that interview and her prior history with the department.
Okay, and that was a really, really bad question. Sorry.
Okay.
Where was LaDon at the time that you interviewed the mother?
With Miss Johnson's father, Mr. Morgan, and his wife, Miss Morgan.
Okay, and did you at some point in time determine that let me back up. Why did you determine that the department needed to seek removal of the child?
Mr. Morgan and Mrs. Morgan were going to be kicking Miss Johnson out of the home after she was discharged. There were also concerns that they may be using cocaine, which were brought to us by Miss Johnson.
Okay, and so did you make the determination that the child's present conditions were dangerous for the child?
Yes.
Okay, and was that based upon information that the mother provided?
Yes.
Okay, and when you sought removal, did you move the child from the home that he was residing in?
Yes.
And where did you place the child?
Well, I don't actually remember. I want to say it was in Lubbock. It was
But
in
did
foster
you-
care.
Did you place the child in a foster home?
Yes.
Okay, now, did Miss Johnson get out of the pavilion during the time you had the case?
Yes, she did.
Okay, and when she got out of the pavilion, did she have, was she safe for the child to return to?
No.
And why not?
She didn't really have anywhere to stay. She didn't know where she was going to go. We were pending drug screens as well for her drug use and her mental health concerns.
Okay, and at that time, did Miss Johnson name several potential fathers to you?
Yes.
And were you able to contact either one of them?
Yes, both of them.
Okay, and in regards to, there was a presumed father, Taria Ellis, is that correct?
Yes.
Did he indicate whether he believed he was the father of the child?
He really wasn't sure. He didn't really believe that he was the father, though.
Okay, and then in regards to the other alleged father, Willie Washington, what was his circumstance?
He also wasn't sure that both asked for a DNA test.
Okay, and so would it be fair to say that the department moved forward in regards to seeking paternity testing before considering placement?
Yes.
Okay, other than what you have testified to, did you have any additional involvement in regards to the child LaDawn Johnson?
No.
Okay, and do you have any other information for the court in regards to the work you did on the case?
No.
Okay, I pass the witness.
Okay. Ms. Groff, you got questions for this witness?
I do not, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, and Mr. Hill?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Zavala?
No questions.
All right, Ms. Powell, anything further?
Judge, Miss Sapien is also
Oh, Ms.
present.
Sapien, I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
That's okay, Judge, and I don't have any questions.
Okay. Ms. Powell, do you have any further questions?
I have no further questions of this witness, Your Honor, and may she be excused to go enjoy her vacation.
She may, as soon as I ask her a couple quick questions.
Okay,
Ms. Larson, did you look into any of her prior, if whether or not she had any prior history with the department?
Yes.
Okay, do you recall whether she did or did not?
She did.
All right, and was there anything in that history that gave you concern?
Yes, she had actually lost custody of all of her prior 3 children due to mental health concerns, including setting a home on fire with her children inside of it and significantly injuring a child at that time that was 3 years old with hot oil.
All right, I appreciate it. Any other history that we need to know about?
No.
Okay. All right, then. Anybody else have any further questions?
no, Your Honor.
All right, then, Ms. Larson, you are free to go on about your day and your vacation plans. Have a great time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Okay, you can call your next witness.
Petitioner calls Aaron Sessions.
All right, Ms. Sessions, if you will, please raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right, you may proceed, Ms. Powell.
Miss Sessions, please state your name.
Aaron Sessions.
Miss Sessions, how are you currently employed?
I am a supervisor with St. Francis Ministries.
Okay, are you familiar with the case involving the child LaDawn Johnson?
Yes, I am.
And how are you familiar with the case?
I've been the supervisor on the case since removal.
Okay, and who was the primary worker on the case while you were supervising it?
In the beginning, it was Jordan Alford, and then now it's Whitney Brown.
Okay, and during the course of the case, have you had regular discussions regarding how the case has been going?
Yes, monthly.
Okay, and does St. Francis keep regular records during the course of the case?
Yes, we do.
Are entries in those records made at or around the time an event occurs?
Yes, they are.
Are they made by a person with personal knowledge?
Yes, they are.
And do you have access to those records?
Yes, I do.
And are you a custodian of those records?
Yes, I am.
And any entries in those records, would you have also been a party to discussion of those records?
Yes, I would.
Now, when a case transfers to St. Francis, what steps does St. Francis take in working a case?
Within the first several days, we try to reach out to the parent and set them up with a visitation with their child. That happens within 3 days from removal. After that, within the first 30 days of the case, we are creating a family plan of service containing services that the parent's going to need to do to mitigate the reasons why their child was removed.
Okay, and was a service plan developed in this case?
Yes, it was.
Were you involved in the preparation of that service plan?
Yes, I was. For
Have
mother
you had-
and the two dads.
Okay, have you had the opportunity to review the exhibits I sent out previously?
Yes, I did.
Did you review exhibit 1?
Yes, I did.
Did you recognize that document?
Yes.
Was it a fair and accurate copy of the document?
Yes, it was.
And did it appear to be altered in any way?
No, it did not.
I'd ask to enter exhibit 1 into evidence at this time, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection?
Your Honor, were these exhibits, or Ms. Powell, were these exhibits sent out to all the attorneys? Because I did not receive them.
I think they had been sent out before.
These were not judged. Let me,
Oh, okay.
If you could just identify what they are, I have a file, I can then just refer to the documents. If they're court documents, I can refer to the ones in my client file.
It was just the one exhibit, correct, Ms. Powell? That's, that
it was
emailed?
yes, it was the one exhibit was sent out at 11:15 yesterday morning to all parties. And Ms. Graffett is Mother's Family Plan of Service that was filed with the court on May 16th of 2025.
I did not receive it yesterday, Your Honor, but I do have that document in my file, so I waive having Ms. Powell send it to me now. Thank you.
Okay. Petitioners, exhibit 1 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Sessions, what is exhibit 1?
It's a family plan of service for Miss LaDonna Johnson.
Okay, and why are family plans developed?
They are developed based on the reasons for removal, and it's sort of a roadmap for helping parents to navigate the removal of their child and work on things that are related to the reasons for that removal.
Okay, do you know if this plan was ever presented to the mother, LaDonna Johnson?
It was not.
And why was it not?
In the beginning of the case, she was at first, there was a time in the beginning when she was in the pavilion. Subsequent to that, she had been released from the pavilion, so we were no longer able to locate her. There was some brief phone contact around July, I believe. Then there was no contact, and then there was some more phone contact in September. And then since September, she has not had any contact. But at no point in time were the workers able to meet with her in person.
Okay, did St. Francis request to meet with Ms. Johnson in person?
Yes.
Okay, and you've already kind of testified to it, but were you unsuccessful in meeting with her?
That is correct.
Okay, and based upon the fact that Miss Johnson has had no contact with St. Francis. Has Miss Johnson had any significant contact with the child?
She's had no visitation with the child since removal.
Okay. Was St. Francis' intention to set up visitation?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Was St. Francis able to communicate with the mother regarding that visitation?
Briefly, nothing of substance though.
Okay. Did you ever actually set up the visitation and make it available?
So the visit was set up in the beginning of the case. And then after no contact for a couple months, we pulled the person that was assigned to that visit off.
Okay. Was some sort of notice sent to the mother regarding the fact the visit was set?
I do not know.
Okay.
I know that there was phone contact made in the beginning. It would have been in May, I believe. And then mother's phone was off at some point in time between removal and around June. And then we talked to her again because she had found a place to live through TPC. It was a respite program through TPC. So they were trying to facilitate that with her. She never showed up to enroll in that program. There was no contact. And going by last known addresses, was unable to find her. She reached back out in September and said that she was living in Lubbock at her mother's house, and tried to reach her in Lubbock, or try to find her in Lubbock. Was not able to contact her at that time. And then just no good phone number and no other known addresses.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that really nothing could be done in this case because mother did not maintain contact with St. Francis?
That is correct.
Okay. Would it, based upon your review and what you've testified to, did Miss Johnson ever reach out asking to see the child?
No, and in fact, contact that was had with her in September, she at no point asked about the child.
Okay. Now, in regards to you, were you present for the testimony of the investigator in regards to the two named potential fathers?
Yes, I was.
Hey, was paternity testing conducted on both of those fathers?
Yes, Mr. Ellis and Mr. Washington were both ruled out as the father through DNA testing.
Okay, and as such, are we left with an unknown father in this case?
Yes.
Okay, was the search of the paternity registry conducted in regards to the child, LaDawn Johnson?
Yes, it was.
And was that filed with the court on August 8th of 2025?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and did that indicate nobody registered with the paternity registry?
That is correct.
Okay, I'd ask the court to take judicial notice of the paternity registry filed with the court.
Counsel, any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
All right, I'll take judicial notice of the paternity registry search that was conducted in this case and that's been filed.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Sessions, where is the child currently placed?
He is in a foster home in Lubbock.
Okay, and has St. Francis had the opportunity to see the child in that home?
Yes.
And is this intended to be the child's permanent placement?
Yes, it is.
Is the placement able to meet all the child's physical, emotional needs?
Yes, they are.
Are there any concerns for the care the child is receiving in that home?
No.
And is the current placement interested in adoption should the court terminate parental rights?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Are you asking the court today to terminate the parental rights of LaDonna Johnson as to the child LaDawn Johnson?
Yes.
Are you asking the court today to terminate any potential rights of the unknown father as to the child LaDawn Johnson?
Yes.
Are you asking that the department be named permanent managing conservator of the child pending an adoption?
Yes.
And do you believe those requests are in the best interest of this child?
Yes, I do.
I pass the witness.
Okay, Ms. Groff, any questions?
I have no questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hill,
No questions.
Ms. Zavala,
I have no questions, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Powell, anything further of this witness?
I don't have any questions.
No, Your Honor, nothing further.
Ms. Sapien, I'm so sorry. I apologize to you.
That's
just-
okay, Judge.
I wasn't looking, I just keep skipping past you. I'm so sorry. All right, Ms. Powell, any further witnesses?
No, Your Honor, no further witnesses, and I'd rest.
All right. Ms. Graff, anything to present today?
I do not, Your Honor. As the court may recall, I took over for, the first attorney that was appointed in this case before the adversary hearing. And I made efforts to try to find my client at the Pavilion and, the other mental health centers here in town, and was not successful and had no way to get a hold of her. Even when she contacted, St. Francis in September, I was not able to get any information of where she might be found to contact her. So I've had no contact, and unfortunately that has limited my ability to do anything for my client. So I have nothing else to add, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Hill?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Mr. Hill, any witnesses to call today or?
No, Your Honor, I'll rest.
Okay. All right, Ms. Zavala. Ms. Sapien, we're gonna do you first, Ms. Sapien.
Thank you, Judge. I don't have anything to present. I'll rest.
All right, and Ms. Zavala.
Nothing to present, I rest.
All right, let me just ask Ms. Sapien, have you had any kind of meaningful contact with your client?
Your Honor, when we began the case, I did have contact with her. I had a few meetings with her, but I have not heard from her since April of last year. So no recent contact.
Okay. All right. Okay, Ms. Zavala, you have a recommendation to make?
Yes, Your Honor, I do believe it's in LaDonna's best interest that parental rights be terminated at this time, both to mom and the unknown father. He's doing extremely well in the placement that he's been in for this entire case. I have zero concerns about that placement, and believe him staying there is in his best interest.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And Judge, I just looked through this, and it does not appear that we have pled in the mental health grounds. I just wanted to make you aware of that before you made your ruling.
Right. Right. We just had concerns from the get-go, and so we felt like it was appropriate to appoint Ms. Sapien, and unfortunately, she's not had much contact, obviously, so.
Absolutely, I understand that. I just know
Yeah.
with the evidence that may have been a question. I just wanted to let you know.
All right, then, I do find by clear and convincing evidence that it is in the best interest of the child, LaDonna Johnson, to terminate the parental rights between the child and his mother, LaDonna Johnson, based on Texas Family Code, Section 161.001, subsection B1, the DE and the N grounds, and the best interest of the child under 161.001 B2. I find also by clear and convincing evidence, it's in the best interest of the child, LaDonna Johnson, to terminate the parental rights between the child and, or if any, with the unknown father, based on his failure to register with the paternity registry under Texas Family Code 161.002, subsection B3. At this time, I will name the Department of Family and Protective Services as the permanent managing conservator of the child, and I will continue the child's current placement I do find the department has used reasonable efforts in this case to reunify the family. Creation of service plans was made, attempts to engage the parties in those plans, and then in particular, once the alleged fathers were eliminated by genetic testing, the department's continued efforts to try to engage the mother with services. At this time, I will dismiss all court-appointed attorneys, including Ms. Sapien as the guardian ad litem, from the case, but after the de novo and the appellate timeframes expire. And Ms. Zavala will remain in the case as the child's attorney and guardian ad litem. Counsel, as always, since I've rendered in open court today, do be mindful that your de novo timeframes has started, and of course that there is accelerated appeals in this case, but please do not file a notice of appeal if you're instructed to do that until the final order has been signed and adopted by the referring court. All right, I appreciate everybody. Again, thank you so much for your patience. I'm so sorry to go into y'all's lunch hour. I'm so sorry about the delay. If things really just got off on a really rocky start this morning. So my apologies and thanks for your perseverance with us. Hope everybody has a good rest of your day. I will be back to start our afternoon docket then at 1:30. It is on this same feed, so I'm going to just leave this, the Zoom feed up, and I'll see some of you then.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Clause number 1000522E. This is the Department of Family and Protective Services versus Zwati Elonia, and in the interest of Faith, Queenie, Aramasi, Alex, and Valley. Okay, we're here on a compliance hearing today. The court having signed an order to participate in this case. So we'll go ahead and take everybody's announcements. We are, of course, conducting this through Zoom. We're live streaming, and Ms. Boyd is making our record.
I can go. Jared Miller, along with Nadia Jeter, on behalf of the department, present and ready.
Stacey Grant on behalf of the mother who requires a Swahili interpreter. Both mother and interpreter are present, and I'm ready.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the children.
Okay, so we're going to need to, at this point, we definitely need to start interpreting for mom everything that's said. So we're going to take this at a much slower pace and keep things, you know, in 1 to 2 short sentences. All right, then, Mr. Miller, how are we proceeding today? Are we just going to get an update from the worker?
I think however you'd like to do, we could do an update, and then I think Miss Grant might want to announce what her client's intention is going forward.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do an update for Ms. Jeter. Ms. Jeter, if you'll unmute and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear you'll tell us the truth today? Okay, I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's better.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to let you give the update, but if you will, just a sentence at a time so that she can interpret for Miss Alonia.
Yes, ma'am. Since the last court date on the 3rd of March,
Tangu ile siku ya mwisho tulipo chini.
the department has exhausted all resources to keep the children in the home.
CPS imejaribu kusaidia kujaribu kuweka watoto nyumbani, but imeshindikana.
Therapy has been provided to all members of the family. Services have been provided.
Wamejaribu kusaidia na kila kitu.
While the children have made progress, in this case, Ms. Zawadi has shared that she is unable to handle the behaviors of Violet and also Alex. So due to behavioral issues, she said that she would like to wrap the kids.
So wamejaribu kusaidia watoto kurekebisha tabia zao, wameweka kwa madarasa, counseling, lakini wewe umeamua haiwezekani kwa nyumba kwa sababu kuna fujo mingi, so umeamua kupatia na watoto.
Violet and Miss Zawadi has always have tension, and so Violet is hopefully going to be placed in Job Corps with the court allowing.
So Violet bado atapelekwa kwa Job Corps pahali pa kutafuta kazi.
Alex, the main issue that we were having with Alex is truancy, getting up for school late and not wanting to go to school.
Na Alex shida yake ni kutoamka kwenda shule.
And that is the update, ma'am.
So if the two oldest children are custody is turned over to the department, will this case still be necessary in your opinion?
Ma'am, this case will close.
Hang on, let her interpret that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So anauliza kama, okay, ask the question again, sorry.
If the two older children are going into the custody of the department.
Okay, so watoto wakishachukuliwa kwa serikali.
Then do you feel like the rest of the family needs to stay in this case?
So wanauliza kama familia mzima bado itabaki kwa hii kesi.
There is a two-part answer. The younger kids are not treated the same way the older children are.
So kuna sehemu mbili ya hii jibu, watoto wawili.
And the second thing is that Juma is still going to be on that safety plan and he still will not be able to come into the home. He is considered.
Okay, just slow down.
So wakishachukuliwa, Juma bado ataweza kukuja hapa na yeah.
Ms. Zawadi still needs to continue her parenting class, so the answer is yes, ma'am.
Na bado utaendelea na karatasi na madarasa zako.
Okay. Ms. Grant, is this sound like what your client wants to do?
Yes, Your Honor. I've had a detailed discussion.
Okay,
my
hang on. She needs to interpret. Sorry.
Oh,
It's okay.
so anauliza kama hivyo ndo vile Miss Grant ameamua.
I've explained to her through interpretation that the children will be removed from the home.
Ameshakwambia watoto watatolewa kwa nyumbani.
She has expressed understanding and believes that is in the children's best interest.
Na umeshaelewa na ni kwa, kwa watoto kuwa na maisha mzuri.
I explained and she expressed understanding that she would still have to work services and do her classes to cooperate with the department.
Na ulielewa kwamba utaweza kuendelea kuchukua madarasa za counseling na ya wazazi.
She expresses that this is her only option as she is unable to control the behaviors of the children inside the home.
Na ulishawaambia kwamba hii tu ndo ni njia yenye itakusaidia wewe kuweza kuwasaidia watoto wako.
She expressed understanding that the children will receive services in an attempt to be able to return home to her.
Na pia ulielewa kwamba hii kuchukuliwa ni kwa muda mfupi na wataenda kusaidiwa alafu watarudishwa nyumbani.
The disruption in the home with these two children is something that the mother is unable to remedy herself without assistance.
Na kwa hii kesi ni umewaeleza kwamba hauwezi kuweza kuwachunga wote kwa sababu una usaidizi ya kutosha.
Due to the chance that Job Corps could work out for Violet,
So kwa sababu Job Corps itasaidia Violet,
the mother agrees with the department's intent to do their best to seek placement locally.
so na umesha kubali na kuelewa na kuuliza kwamba watoto waweke pahali penye itakuwa karibu.
As we discussed last time in the hearing, there are still some questions about how we get her placed into Job Corps legally.
Na vile waliongea hiyo koti ingine walikuwa na shangaa vile wataweza kuweka mtoto kupeleka Violet kwa Job Corps.
After discussion with the attorneys, we believe that Ms. Zavala will make a request for how the order should read in that regard.
So after kuongea na hao watu wamesema watamwandikia barua ili waweze kumuingisha kwa hiyo program ya kupata kazi, kwa sababu walikuwa na hali ngumu kumpeleka ndani.
We are still running down the legal answers for how we go about that, Your Honor, but are all working together.
So bado wanajaribu kumuingisha ndani but wanasaidiana wote.
And that's all I have, Judge, unless you have questions for us.
Ni hiyo tu kutoka kwake.
Okay. No, I don't have any questions.
Ndio jana maswali.
Thank you, Your Honor. So we would be requesting the court order this case be transferred to a wrapper and the children be removed from the home and placed in temporary managing conservatorship of the state of Texas.
So wanajaribu wanauliza judge aweke hiyo order ya kuchukua watoto kwa sababu wameshindwa na hao ndio waweke kwa serikali. So she says she has a question.
Okay.
Waulize kwa sababu hivi ninaishi kwa mashaka, kwa sababu mzee ameshasema hatarudi kulipa nyumba kwa sababu anazidi kunyenyekea kule, na hapo ameshamfukuza kwa mtoto wake. Mimi sielewi sasa nitafanya nini.
Okay, she's still talking about, okay, she's saying that she's worried about her husband with her children coming back and that he won't be able to live here and won't be able to support her when the kids are back here.
So, Your Honor, the mother, due to the fact that the father is the primary breadwinner,
Umesema Juma ndio analipa nyumba na kufanya
would be
kila
would be seeking the court's permission for the father to reside back in the home during the removal of the children and them being placed.
So nauliza judge, sign hizo makaratasi ndio arudi akae hapo.
Sawa.
She still has some children who are very, very young and she does not work outside the home.
Na kuna watoto wengine wadogo na huwezi kufanya kazi.
Hiyo ndio nafanya.
But we would, if the court were to grant that request, we obviously agree to no contact between the husband and the 2 children being removed.
So wakishakubali wataelewana na kuandika hiyo karatasi that huyu mzee hatakutana na watoto wengine kuja.
Sawa.
Judge, it's also my understanding that the children would be removed today if the court rules that an emergency removal is proper today.
Na pia anaambia judge kwamba watoto watachukuliwa leo wakishamalizana na hii kesi.
Sawa.
Well, procedurally, my understanding is we would have a conservatorship case on the older 2 girls.
So wanasema watoto wakubwa ndo watachukuliwa.
And he is not their father.
Na yeye si baba yao.
No.
Correct, Your Honor.
Either one of the older girls.
That's correct, Judge.
So he's not going to be involved in that case.
No, Your Honor.
Na hata kwa hii kesi.
Your Honor, can I just voice some concerns, please?
Hang on just a minute, just a second. Let me just kind of get through this.
Yes, ma'am.
And the department was wanting to leave the services case open to continue to work with mom and the other children. But they're still wanting him excluded from the home, correct?
So
I don't know the department's position on that, Your Honor, so I would defer to Mr. Miller or Mr. Graff's position there with Ms. Jeter's input.
Well, and I've got to let her catch up.
So alikuwa nauliza kama hiyo vile anataka ni mzee bado atakaa na watoto hapa, atakaa kwa hii nyumba ama watamtoa, like ndio uweze kuendelea na madarasa.
Mi nataka kaa tu anisaidia kulea watoto na mi nahitaji kule na kufanya kazi.
Your next statement. I'm just telling her what you just said.
So, but Ms. Jeter is indicating they still want the safety plan in effect where he can't be in the home.
So na case worker Nadia anataka bado kukuwe na hiyo plan yenye baba ya watoto wadogo haizi kwa nyumba.
Kwa nini akiacha kulipa nyumba sasa Nadia atanisaidia kulipa?
Do you want me to tell you what she said?
Yeah. Just tell her you can tell me, but she's gonna have to wait till we let us get through this.
That's what I told her. Yeah. So after I told her that statement, she said that she is still concerned about him not being here and he won't be able to take care of her while he's away.
I understand.
Like he has to be. So
So if he's allowed to come back into the home with his children and mom,
so
I mean, there's really no more need for the services case, is there?
So kutakuwa na haja ya kukuwa na hii madarasa.
I mean, if the department was wanting to keep the services case open just so we can keep him out of the house.
So kama CPS anataka atoke kwa nyumba na bado kuwe na madarasa yao ni haja.
Okay.
If I may, Judge,
That being said, I'm gonna ask in the department, are there other concerns than just whether dad comes home or not? Let her translate.
So wanauliza kama kuna shida ingine ya kama huyu mzee anaweza kuja hapa ama hapana.
Hakuna shida ingine kwa sababu
No.
basi
It's different.
Was that for me, Your Honor?
Well, or Mr. Graff, whoever wants to.
Actually, I don't want to step on Mr. Miller's toes, but I was communicating with Ms. Walker, and I think the understanding is the practical reality would be with the removal case, St. Francis would be working with the mother and necessarily with the father if he was going to be in the home. But my understanding, and I kind of defer to Mr. Miller on this, is that the plan would be the FBSS case would close.
So nasema hii kesi inaweza pelekwa kwa department ingine inaitwa St. Francis ndo washughulike na hizi madarasa na counseling na hiyo vitu zote, but sisi ndio walikuwa wanataka tuwasaidie.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but the trouble was all brewing between the father and the older children.
Shida ilikuwa baba na wale watoto wakubwa wawili.
Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am. And I was notified the FBSS case will close and the case will move to St. Francis.
So Nadia amesema hiyo kesi itafungwa na itaenda kwa St. Francis.
Well, just with the other with the two oldest children.
Yeah,
Correct?
Yes, ma'am. If the two older children are removed,
Right.
then we will work to close our case and pass it on to St. Francis, who will continue to work with the family.
Watoto wakubwa wawili wakichukuliwa watapelekwa St. Francis, alafu wao ndo watashughulika nayo na CPS itafunga kesi.
But again, I'm going to clarify, but only as to the two older children. I mean, if FBSS closes, they're done with the younger kids, right?
Nauliza juu ya watoto wawili wakubwa, sasa wengine wadogo ndo watabaki.
Okay, I want to hear Ms. Zavala's thoughts.
Ningependa kusikiza attorney wa watoto.
Your Honor, I met with both of the two older girls.
Amekutana na wale watoto wakubwa wawili.
I met with Violet in her mother's home.
Amekutana na Violet na hapa nyumbani.
I met with Alex at school.
Amekutana na Alex kwa shule.
Both Violet and Alex expressed
No, go ahead.
no concerns about how the younger children were treated in the home.
Wote wawili wameweza kusema vile wanashughulikiwa na vile hao watoto wengine wadogo wanashughulikiwa.
And from what I could determine from the reports filed, I did not see any concerns identified about how the younger children were being treated in the home.
Na aliweza hakuona tofauti vile watoto wale wakubwa na wale wadogo wameweza kuchungwa.
While I was visiting with Violet in Miscellaneous home, she expressed concerns to me about me meeting with the younger children at school.
Na vile alikuja kuongea na wengine, uliweza kuambia vile ulikuwa unasikia vile alienda kuona wale watoto wengine kwa shule.
This is a difficult case because of the language and cultural issues in play.
So hii kesi ni ngumu kwa sababu ya lugha.
After I spoke with the two older, and they expressed no concerns about the younger children.
So after kuongea na wale watoto wakubwa na wakasema vile hawana shida na wale watoto wadogo.
And after having seen the youngest child in the home in a condition that appeared to be very good.
Na vile aliona watoto wengine wako nyumbani wadogo na walikuwa sawa.
And because we were still trying to work with the family on a family-based case.
Na kwa sababu walikuwa wanajaribu kuwasaidia na hii department yetu.
I made the decision not to meet with the two school-age younger children by themselves.
Akaamua asikutane na wale watoto wengine wadogo peke yake.
In the hopes that that would reduce tension and allow us to continue working with the family.
Akifikiria itasaidia kuifanya ikuwe rahisi kufanya kazi na hao wengine wakubwa.
If there is thought of continuing this as a family-based with those children, I will be happy to go and meet with them as soon as possible.
Kama kuna vile watataka hii kesi iendelee na sisi, atafurahi kuja kukutana na nyinyi, kukutana na hao watoto wengine.
But I did speak with both of the older girls.
Lakini alishaongea na watoto wengine wakubwa wawili.
Violet very much wants to leave the home.
Violet ameshasema anataka kutoka kwa nyumba.
I am very hopeful about the Job Corps possibility for her.
Kuna matumaini ya hiyo kazi, ya hiyo pahali ya kazi naye.
It is my understanding that she is now at the top of the wait list, but we may still have a month or two before a specific spot opens up for her.
Na bado wako na matumaini na ataingia kwa hiyo program kwa sababu wako kwenye juu ya list.
I would like to ask the court
Ningependa kuuliza koti
to order St. Francis to make their best efforts to attempt to contract with Job Corps for that placement.
kuongea na St. Francis kuweza kuisukuma hiyo vitu za Violet za kazi.
I don't believe the court has the authority to order Job Corps to accept her as a placement.
Na haoni kama kotini inaweza saidia na inaweza sukuma kabisa, but inaweza saidia.
And I do believe another placement will be necessary until that spot opens up.
Na naamini kuwa kutakuwa na pale ingine watapelekwa kabla ingine ijakuwa tayari.
As to Alex, my hope is that we could find a local placement for her.
Na kwa Alex ana matumaini ama ana hope that Alex anaweza pata pahali penye iko karibu na hapa Amarillo.
I met with her at school and was able to talk with school staff there who seem very supportive of her.
Ameshakutana na walimu wake na watu wa shule wenye wako na matumaini naye.
It was reported to me that when she appears at school, they have no issues with her and she does wonderfully well.
So wanasema vile akifika shule yuko tu mtoto mzuri, anafanya anafuata masheria na kila kitu kwa shule.
The only issue appears to be getting her to school.
So shida tu ni kumpeleka kuweza kumfanya aende shule.
Namfanya.
With just a few weeks left in school, my hope would be that she could be here local so she could finish out the school year there and not risk losing credit.
So kwa sababu shule karibu inaisha, anafikiria kwamba ataweza pata hali hapa karibu ndio aweze kumaliza, ndio hakuna amalize vizuri.
But all of that would be dependent on St. Francis's ability to find a local placement. And we have no assurances that can happen.
Na hiyo itategemea na San Francisco mtafutia pahali hapa karibu, na hawana nguvu ya kuweza kufanya ifanyike bila wanataka.
But at this time, I do believe for the older two children that it's in their best interest that the department be named temporary managing conservator.
Na kwa sababu yao watoto wawili wakubwa, namuona pia ni itakuwa vizuri wakitolewa na waweze kusaidiwa na serikali. Yeah.
I think any order about the Job Corps thing will have to come in the other case. But
So hiyo story ya Job Corps itatokea kwa kesi ingine.
all right, then, I feel like we should go ahead and we'll dismiss the services case.
So watatoa hizo yenye wamesema baba sikuje.
Which will allow the father of the youngest children to come back into the home.
Ndio waweze kuleta baba kuja kwa nyumba.
I'll sign an order for protection on Alex and Valley. And we'll of course have to set that for an adversary hearing.
Wataweza kuandika protection ya Violet na Alex.
But maybe an agreed order can be worked out. Do we know who the father of those children?
So, unajua baba ya watoto?
Niko Afrika.
She said they're in Africa.
Two different fathers?
No.
The same dad for the two older girls.
Has she given that name to us?
Umeshawapatia jina ya baba ya watoto?
Baba yake anaitwa Alex.
Umeshawapatia hiyo jina? She hasn't.
Okay, will she give that name to Ms. Jeter?
So utampatia Nadia.
So
she said okay.
Is she in contact with him?
Oh, unaweza ongea naye?
Sasa hivi naona wamelala.
So ukipata nafasi unaweza muongelesha? Yeah, she said she can get in contact with them, but with the time difference right now, it's going to be a little hard.
Okay, but she does have contact with him and knows how to contact him.
Yes.
Okay, he will have to be notified about this, is why I'm asking.
Pia anafaa kujulishwa juu ya hii kesi.
Nimemjulisha akasema wapeleke.
So she's saying so she's saying she kind of let him know that this was the plan, and he had told her that he wanted them to go back to Africa.
No, Africa.
No. So he's in agreement with it. He's in agreement with the kids being in the system.
Okay. Well, he has to be notified.
Yeah, bado itabidi aambiwe.
Nitamwambia ila kuitika ndio vigumu kwa sababu najua Afrika hali ni mbaya.
She said okay.
All right, then that will be the plan. So, Mr. Graff, I guess whenever they get the order, I guess they're gonna file under a new cause number.
That's correct, Judge. We'll kick it over to the county just because the county handles removals. But we anticipate this might be a case where they decide they want us to handle it in-house since we're already familiar with the family. And I'm sorry about my new legal assistant in the background making all that noise.
No problem, no problem. All right, then that'll be the plan. We'll be watching for it. Is the department planning to take possession of those two children today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Your Honor,
yes, Ms. Grant.
I just wanted to ask if I would continue to be appointed to the mother on the removal or if I need to wait for an order.
No, we will appoint you to represent her.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, I appreciate everybody. Y'all are free to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great
Thank
rest
you,
of your
Your
day.
Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Jeter. I will call cause number 1000376E in the interest of Jackson Travis. We're here for our initial permanency hearing. We are conducting this through Zoom. We're live streaming. And Ms. Boyd is making our record today. Okay, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Yes, Todd Walker with the Department of Family and Protective Services. Our permanency specialist is Shelby Brady from St. Francis. We are present and ready to proceed.
Judge Brooks just texted me. He's walking out of the 251st and will be signing on.
Okay, I'll watch for him.
Stacy Brown on behalf of Andrea Chavez. My client's present and we're ready.
Stacy Zabala on behalf of Jackson.
Okay. All right, let's see. Ms. Brady. I've already sworn you in today, haven't I?
Yes, ma'am.
You are still under oath. We don't need to do it again.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to go ahead and give us an update, we'll then give everybody a chance to ask you some questions.
Okay. Jackson is doing great in placement. He is previously behind in repeating the 4th grade, but he is doing extremely well as far as his grades, all A's and B's. He has good relationships with his peers and his teachers. His placement is very involved with the school as well and attending events. He's very bonded to his placement with Richard and Mary. He does want to have visits with his mom and see his mom. He has visits with his sister and paternal grandmother, and those are reported to be going well and consistent, pretty much more consistent now than they were previously happening. And so he likes having those visits, but he likes to play soccer. He wanted to play football, but he's a little bit too small to play football, like tackle football. So I think he's going to get started in flag football. So he's pretty excited for that. And then overall, yeah, he's just doing good. His health is good. No concerns, no medication or anything like that. As far as for dad is incarcerated at Potter County. He has a few charges. His charges out of Randall County, he is sentenced to 8 years, I believe, for those. And then he's still waiting on his sentencing for his charges out of Potter County. And so he will be there for a little while. However, he is compliant in meeting with me. He has done services available to him while he's been incarcerated. He has made trustee and has not made me aware of any incidents that have happened while he's been incarcerated. He does want Jackson to stay in placement with Richard and Mary and to continue to have his family support them there. He would like to have contact with Jackson, but I told him that St. Francis is not able to not setting that up at this time, but he can write letters to Jackson. No letters have been written at this time. And then Andrea is currently participating in an inpatient program at Plainview Serenity Center. She will actually be done I keep on getting mixed up, honestly. Her discharge is either today or tomorrow. But so she's right at the end of it. Very proud of her for completing that. And then she's also completed an 8-hour parenting course while she was there. With that, she will still need to complete her other services, an OSAR, her psychological counseling and drug screening. Due to her, she was moving around up to Illinois and back and down to Lubbock and things like that. And then participating in programs at Oceans Behavioral Hospital, Northwest Behavioral Hospital, and things like that. So she has not submitted to any additional drug screens that I've been able to send her to due to being in a program. So once she's out of Serenity, I'll need to send that. That way we can see if that's a negative result and be able to get in-person visits started with Jackson.
Where does she intend to reside when she leaves Serenity?
She's not 100% certain. She does initially plan to go back to Northwest Behavioral Health to get her medication again. She does have medications that she's taking for her mental health and her substance abuse to help her. And so she plans to go back to Northwest first. I have talked to her about Downtown Women's Center and Faith City Mission programs. She knows about Martha's Home. And so she's checked on a few of those. She's checked on another program as well in Lubbock, but I don't know that. Whenever I talked to her this morning, she hadn't fully decided about going to a program. And so I was trying to explain to her, she's worried about the programs being so long and not being able to get her son back. And so I was kind of explaining to her that, like, just because you're not done with like a 2-year Downtown Women's Center program doesn't mean that we can't staff for like reunification if when appropriate. It doesn't have to be the end of the 2 years. So I was kind of explaining that to her a little bit this morning. So
Yeah,
I'll continue
Ms.
to work
Chavez,
with
we
her and
have-
talk to her about that.
Ms. Chavez, we have parents that get reunified with their children all the time that are in some of those long-term programs. They have housing situations for you and a child, and so do not let that keep you from seriously exploring one of those programs. Because, there's all kinds of other assistance for you there to develop a support system and employment. And, so in the meantime, you've got a roof over your head, you've got food, it's just, I cannot encourage you enough to seriously consider one of those programs. I think it's your greatest chance at success. So I hope you really will take a hard look at those.
And then the last thing of my update is that Andrea does want it to be known that she does want to get Jackson back. She does not want Richard and Mary to keep him permanently. However, she is thankful for their support during this time while she's working services until she can get him back.
Okay. Okay, then let's just see, Ms. Grant, do you have any questions?
No questions, Your Honor. I'm just waiting for Ms. Chavez to complete Serenity so that she can engage further in the services that she hasn't started yet, take all of her assessments. I personally, for her, highly recommend Downtown Women's Center. I have many clients who have reunified with their children and lived at the center and gotten employment and been very successful through that program. Obviously, I don't know what availability would be there at the time that she finishes Serenity, but I did speak with them about when she returns to Amarillo, possibly doing a visit there to assess their program and see if she feels it'd be a fit for her.
Okay. They do require, that I think 2-week period of sobriety. And so she would have that. And so,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Chavez, you may have an advantage over some other people right now because you're coming out of Serenity and you could maybe go straight in and they might have a spot for you. So it's a great program. So, just keep talking to people about that and just know that I certainly think it would be a great move for you. Okay, Mr. Barfield, any questions for Ms. Brady?
I do not have any questions, Your Honor.
All right, we got an update on your client. He's been sentenced out of Randall County. He's awaiting sentencing in Potter. So he's going to be gone for a while, but he is cooperating with St. Francis. So,
Good. Thank you, Your Honor.
okay, Ms. Zavala.
Your Honor, I got to meet with Jackson in person at Placement's home. Seemed to be doing really great. I'm really glad to hear that in-person visits with grandma and sister are becoming more regular. I know that was an important request that he had, and I'm excited about that for him. He did ask me about whether he could have phone contact with Dad. And I tried to explain how that works generally when we've got a parent who's incarcerated. But that was one of his requests as well. But he is doing very well, and I've got no concerns about placement.
If Dad ends up in TDC, some units, there's a way to have parent-child phone, visits. So if that becomes a possibility and seems appropriate, that's maybe out there. I don't know. So, okay. All right then. Anybody have anything else? Okay, then.
Ms. Brady, I'm curious, the great aunt and uncle that Jackson is placed with, is that paternal or maternal aunt and uncle?
Paternal.
Paternal. Is that here in Amarillo or elsewhere?
They're in Canyon, but he does go to school in Amarillo.
I see. Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
All right, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator and continue child's current placement. I find a continuing danger to return the child home to either parent at this time. And I will find that parents are not in compliance with their service plans at this time. But at least Ms. Chavez, you're working in the right direction. So, we just kind of got a little bit slow start, but we're working in the right direction now. Okay. All right, I expect Department St. Francis to continue to use reasonable efforts to reunify the family. And I'll see you all back for our next hearing, July 28th of 2026. That'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. And then the final is scheduled for October 1st of 2026 on a 9 o'clock docket. Just so you've got that. All right, thank you all very much, and y'all are free to go. 98635E in the interest of Elijah Carter. We're here today scheduled to resume a final in this case, which we began back on February 24th, excuse me, of 2026. Mr. Barfield was substituting in for Mr. Eldridge on that day, and since it was a final, I didn't feel it was fair to press him into that final hearing on short notice, so we reset for today's date. My understanding is we have had, well, it's come to our attention that Mr. Carter has an AKA maybe, and there's been some confusion about him and regarding another case, but he is not present with us from jail. Is that correct, Mr. Eldridge?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so obviously, since this is a final, and I believe the department is seeking termination in the case, we need to arrange to have him brought in for the final, unless Mr. Eldridge, he's communicated something to you that I don't know about.
He has not communicated with me at all since he did like the first week of the case. I haven't heard from him since. Calls go straight to voicemail. No response to any emails. No response to letters. I don't believe he's done any services, but no, I haven't had any word from him.
But he's in what jail now? He's
He's
in,
at the Randall County Detention Center. So we have him as Trey Carter, aka Elijah.
Isaiah Trayvon Carter.
AKA Elijah I. Carter. This morning, can I just let the tape know, Judge, what's going on? That this morning, TD appeared for an OTP, and when he announced who he represented, it appears to be the same father in our case. He is at the Randall County Detention Center under Elijah Carter, and he has pled on his criminal cases.
Do you know what he got? Is he going to prison or?
He got 3 years. I wrote down in my notes he got 3 years TDCJ.
Okay.
And of course, that just happened. It looked like they had a big docket out at the jail actually a few days ago, and he just pled to that. The criminal convictions aren't even in the Odyssey system yet. So that's how recent that was. But with the weird names, there was some confusion as to whether it was the same guy, but we believe it is the same guy.
Okay.
So because of that, Mr. Eldridge, I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna reset this today. And I'm sorry for the confusion and for the inconvenience to everybody, but now that we really believe that's one and the same, and you wouldn't have known that it was him because you had Trey Carter. So anyway, you can get in touch with him out there, talk to him about his options and all. So Miss Katie, what are we looking at for a reset?
Judge, we have until May 25th. That's the 90 days from the original recess date.
Okay.
And if we're going to have him appear from Randall County, they prefer afternoon hearings.
Yeah.
We've got, let's see. The afternoon, April is very, very, very booked. We could do, let's see. The afternoon of April 16th at around 1:30. You only have one final that morning and the rest is an after final docket.
Okay. So May.
I can do that, Your Honor. I have a 3 o'clock JP trial over a credit card case it's actually for my son-in-law. And I think I have to be there in person, it looks like.
And that's on April 16th.
16th, yeah. So if we did it at 1:30, I think that's fine. This one shouldn't take more than an hour, I wouldn't think, would it?
I anticipate I'll have my case done in less time than that. It just depends on the other parties.
Your Honor, I've got a 1 p.m. final. I'm trying to look and see if it's you or if it's Judge Graham. If you'll give me just a moment. If it's on your docket, I won't have a problem. But
well, I don't have a final that afternoon.
Okay, so I've got a 1 p.m. final that day. And I don't think it'll take long, but usually they take a little longer than 30 minutes.
So that's not turning out to be a very good
Can we do the 17th? I'm good on the 17th in the afternoon. It's a Friday. I don't know if you guys want to do it on a Friday afternoon, but
Fridays are hard for us because it's hard to find a reporter unless Miss Boyd is available that afternoon.
And we also need to make sure that we don't have, well, I just need to make sure none of you had a conflict with Judge Graham's Friday dockets. So just whether everybody's available.
I'm good for the 17th, Your Honor. I don't show anything at all for the 21st, but you guys may be full already.
We're closed. And Judge Baker will be out for a conference.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Actually, Miss Katie, I've had to cancel that.
Oh, well, we're still closed. I'm not canceling that.
It's a holiday.
That's fair.
What
Is it?
holiday is it?
Probably one of our state holidays.
I was gonna say one of those weird like San Jacinto Day or something.
That's exactly right.
Oh, that's funny.
You win the prize, Miss Powell.
The only
Okay.
state holiday I could think of that we don't.
I don't know what everybody's schedule is on Wednesday, the 22nd. We only have one hearing that morning out of Childress or Hall County. We could maybe do it later that morning.
I have a trial that day.
Yeah, and I'm not available that day. I have training.
Okay.
So
Well, does the 17th work for everybody?
It
No,
works for me.
no, I'm out that day. My son's getting married the next day.
Well,
Oh,
Melinda, I mean,
Sorry.
come
But I looked at my calendar because ordinarily I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. But no, my son's getting married.
on. Okay.
Big deal.
Yeah, I have a dress and everything.
We'll have to go out a little further.
Sorry,
See.
guys. That's
What
one of
about
those.
the afternoon of April 28th? Have I put that one out there?
I could do that.
We have the Lara final on that day. We're going to mediation on that case here very, very soon. I don't know how long that's gonna last.
Okay. What
I mean,
about the
we could-
afternoon of the 30th? Or we could probably do that morning. We only have one other final, but I don't know how long that morning final is going to take.
Well, and I've got 3 with Judge Graham that morning.
On the 30th?
Oh, hang on. I'm in March. Give me a second.
Okay.
I'm
It's
sorry.
like he better not be stealing our day. I'm going to have a chat with him.
The
So I'm
30th
good on
looks good for me.
I'm good on the 28th, or I can make it good. 30th, I have a trial in the morning. It's a custody trial. And I don't know what number I am, but I'm on the 47th trial docket that morning as well. I'm about I'm in the top 10, somewhere around there.
Well, we could set it for the afternoon of the 28th, and if mediation, nothing comes to an agreement, maybe we can, I guess we can look at more reset dates. I don't know.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
so April 28th.
Uh-huh. Let's do 1:30 just to give everybody a little more time because we do have several finals that morning.
Okay.
And I'm a slacker, and so follow the department people, Melissa, SMR, and David, because I am a total slacker. Would y'all make sure to calendar that? I will try to remember to email y'all, but I failed miserably.
Okay, then, so April 28th at 1:30, we will resume this final.
Okay.
All right, thank you all very much. I
Well,
just-
am I gonna have Mr. Carter appear by Zoom? Or
I'll send the request out to Randall County. They're pretty good about having him appear by Zoom
okay,
out there, but I'll verify with them just to make sure.
okay. So it's either that or we're not gonna bench warrant him in to do it, have him in person, right?
No, they can call in if he can't appear by video.
Okay.
Unless he would like to do something else, Tate, and we can draft that paperwork for you to.
He might. I've proposed it. I just didn't get a response. I think he probably will. I haven't heard from the guy. I don't know why he wouldn't. You know?
Okay, I will have Kilm send that over to you, and then you'll have it on hand.
Okay. I'd be surprised if he wouldn't, but I don't know. He just checked out basically.
All right, sounds like a plan. I'll see you back then.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Doctor,
Judge. I
good
think
rest of
that's
your
it for
day.
me today, if I could be excused.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll get ready then to take up the Johnson case here in just a second.